Welcome back to America's Real Deal. We want to congratulate our top 4 finalists: Slumber Bump, Citizen Armour, Social 5, and Vibravision. Now on this episode, we've invited a cross-section of entrepreneur-minded Americans to interview our top 4 finalists. Christy Campbell, a war veteran, mother, graphic artist, and marketing entrepreneur. Sam Wilkinson, an owner of a wealth management firm. Ron Williams, a pastor, inventor, author, and 7-time Mr. Olympia, Mr. Universe, and Mr. World. And Todd Dean, a wellness coach. Now we invite you, our viewing audience, to vote, buy, and invest, and share socially for a chance to be a special guest next season, like these 4. And now, our first interview, Dr. Shad Morris with Slumber Bump.
So you've had a chance to meet these guys already, but let's really get real. Why does Dr. Shad Morris, why do you feel that you can be the champion of America's Real Deal? And why should America invest in you?
That's a great question, because my mission is to not only save lives, but change lives and maintain or improve relationships.
So how are you going to change lives?
I'm going to be able to lengthen someone's life, give them a better quality of life, and nurture their relationship of their bed partner. So I don't know how you put a price on that.
If they already know they need a CPAP, how can they look at this and say, okay, that'll be a better alternative for me, as opposed to they order it, they get it, and then, doesn't quite meet my needs, I gotta go back to the CPAP. How do they know this will work for them?
That's a good question. We'd never take somebody that was on an effective treatment and take them off of it. Okay. It would augment that treatment, obviously, and then if they're not tolerant to it, what do they have to lose? I mean, it's like $80. You don't have to buy all the supplies all the time, so that it costs better long term. There's not the bacteria, and you literally strap it on, and it works. And then, since we have an app along with this, people can go in and record their snoring. So now they'll have objective data that it is actually decreasing their snoring if their bed partner can't tell them, or they've already left the room by now or something.
Let me ask you this: with this, it feels just like a balloon that's been blown up. What is the technology that makes this work?
The technology is actually just wearing it. So, I mean, it's literally, I can put it on, but it's just, it goes around to right below your chest here, and it just keeps you from rolling onto your back. So that's what we call elbow and the rib disease. If you look at somebody when they're snoring, usually they're on their back. So the elbow's coming in to roll over.
We may have a lot of people here buying the product even from our show and voting for your product. But how do you go to market beyond that? What's your strategy? Is it going to be an infomercial? Is it a contract with Walmart? That would be the ideal, right? But what's your strategy?
That in the works. What we've been doing for 5 years and what I think we've done, the goal is to be the Kleenex of positional sleep therapy. That was my goal 6 years ago, and that's what I'm going to do. The first thing I've done is name branded in the medical community. So the medical sleep doctors and dentists now know Slumber Bump is their choice for positional therapy because of the price point, because of how it is. We were at the biggest sleep show in the world in San Antonio. Hundreds of doctors from the Mayo Clinic to Yale University to VA clinics all across this country are using this now for their patients as an adjunct with the CPAP, or if they're using an oral appliance, either online or from their dentist. So it makes everything work better, or it's a treatment unto itself. So we've marketed in, and we've sent out a lot of samples to the physicians. So a lot of our sales are from physicians referring their patients.
Wow. So
because it's billable. It's a DME code.
So what kind of revenue are you looking at for this year and projected for next year?
This year we're at about 250,000, and we're going to Google growth for next year.
Got it.
Yeah.
Literally, with a lot of other things working.
Is this a patented process?
Yes, it is a design patent.
Why should America vote for you versus all the other companies that we've seen on America's Real Deal?
Well, because this company's going somewhere, because the product works. It is a real deal product when you wear it, and we're saving not only the length of their lives, the quality, and we're saving relationships. So I think that's a pretty good goal.
What's the market, and how much of that market do you think you can capture?
So that's a great question. I think everybody watching either snores or lives next to somebody that snores or is in the same house. So I think it affects everybody that we're talking about here.
You have different apparatuses that they use They have one that you put across your nose. They have the CPAP, and they have all these other, I almost said gimmicks, but I'm not going to say gimmicks because they may very well work. I've just never used them. How does your product compare, and why should America purchase your product?
Because you don't need a prescription to buy it. You don't need to go to your physician or your dentist to buy it. The price point is very affordable, and it just may work for you. And if it does, it just saved you a lot of money. If it doesn't, then you can go after one of these more expensive, more drawn out, see your doctor type models.
And now, Aaron Gilbert with Citizen Armour.
I have 6 kids, ages 12 all the way down to 2.5. And when I look at your product, the first thing that comes to my mind is, how do I protect my kids? And this becomes the solution. And I know every parent, every caretaker, every teacher out there loves their children and wants to protect them. How do you protect every kid in our country with what your product can do?
We want to protect families as a whole. Dad is the one that's in charge of protecting, or mom's the one in charge of protecting them. Let's give them the tools to protect themselves so they can do a better job of protecting their children.
So Christy, you have 3 daughters and a mother, single mother, so what's your thoughts on this?
I will shoot whoever comes into my house. I would. I think that it is a great product, and I applaud you for doing that. Being military background, my first instinct was, hey, let's get some veterans that are combat experienced and hire them.
Forbes Riley was all over your product, and she loved it, and as Kevin as well. My question to you is really around, I mean, I'm a business guy, and I'm all about your revenue and return, and I just don't see that big a market based on the pain point.
So as far as the market need, I think part of the challenge is getting the public to even know that this product exists, because you can't walk into a store when you're shopping for briefcases or backpacks, or you can't see these kind of products available, so people don't think that or don't know they're available. So that's number one.
You did say that you had placed it in one of the major e-commerce websites and it was taken down.
It's correct. We were on a very well-known e-commerce site for 2 days.
You guys wouldn't know the name. Just saying.
And within 2 days, we had sold over 70 units, and then they found out that our armor was being sold, and they took us down because they classified armor for protecting our families and our kids the same as guns.
So a safety product they took off.
They did, and we're still trying to get them to change their mind, but it's going to maybe take more people.
How do you overcome that? If one of the major e-commerce platforms says no, and you start going to other platforms, and maybe you get a great relationship with somebody at another big distribution, retailer, and they want to do it, but then you hit another no. How do you really go to market with this?
First of all, is you don't settle on no. Okay. I can tell you that we had another e-commerce company who was not, or who's more open about body armor products, and they purchased over $250,000 of our product just in the first month after we offered the product for sale. And those sales are continuing to grow. So it's a matter of getting it to more of mainstay marketing, and I can tell you that most of the money that we're going to generate from this raise is going to help us to increase production capabilities so that we can actually have a large inventory of products and pallets, and a number of pallets ready to go and be distributed, and so that's what we're going to be using.
And are you going direct to the consumer? Are you going through retailers, or what's your go-to-market there?
So approximately 40% of our sales right now are coming through our dealers, which are usually online dealers. And then the rest of the 60% comes through our website.
When I watch the movies on TV and they have these protective vests on, they're protected in the mid area, but I'm always thinking, what about my face? But with this,
yeah,
with the notebook that you have, you could always put that up and guard your face as well.
It's got full coverage from the very top here to the very bottom here.
Thanks, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Next up, Rob Wellman with Social 5.
So Rob, let me ask you this. Every startup has speed bumps, and it's always the speed bumps that we don't want to share. So, but conversely, you're talking the audience of many people that could probably help you. So what are the things that you don't want to share with us, or some of the challenges that you have right now within the company, outside of capital?
Well, I think that's a fair question, right? Every startup has to go through a phase, and this idea that you nail the product and then you scale it is very important. Some people get that backwards. And all the warts that we've gone through to nail that product, those are the things that all.
Okay, well, we want to hear at least one of the warts.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the first things that happened, we sat down, and for whatever reason, we were starting in the insurance industry, and our sales team came back and said, people love this in the insurance industry, but I'm walking past a dentist, I'm walking past a restaurant. If we could sell it to all of them, we'd really have something. We all looked at each other and said, how in the world would we deliver services across any industry at any time? We figured it out.
So your business is inclusive of all the social media platforms?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's 150 different social media platforms, but there's some that matter.
Right, the major ones.
The major ones. So we write the content, deliver the content on major social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, blogs, and we wrap together email. Email is still the most socially pervasive platform. So when you add push strategies with email, combined with the social strategy, you mix that all together, you have a winning formula. 60% of your content should be about something besides your business.
Yeah.
If you just talk about yourself all the time, just as someone were to walk in a room that annoyed people. So 40% of the content is about your industry and your product. The other 60% ought to be humorous. It ought to be combining pop culture or other events that are going on. And so when we can take this unbelievable talent of writing and mix together a playlist that's unique for the customer, they have a winning formula, which includes video, which includes content, imagery. It's all of those things mixed together.
See, my wife is the smartest person I know. You can ask her. She told me.
I'm not fighting with your wife.
And she can do just about anything, man. But what you're saying is I need to hire professionals to do that part of my business. And why would you be the best at doing this?
Right, you don't want to disappoint Mr. 7-time winner, Universe, Olympia, and Mr. World. So you gotta answer that question.
Hey, there are good companies out there that can provide social media services, but they can only do it for 4 or 5 businesses. They can't scale.
Yeah.
And they don't have an army of people that have been able to compress the price. I'll tell you the main reason, our customers don't leave us. Once they get on and see the success and they evaluate the price for the return, they don't leave.
I think it's brilliant that you can span so many different industries and be able to address those needs. How do you help those entrepreneurs in various fields of expertise or who truly have a unique story? How do you work with them to get their unique story told and utilize?
That's critical, right? Because they'll always say, can you speak in my voice? Can you really represent me? So let's say we have a new business that joins our service tomorrow, and I don't have a writer that has experience in their industry. Within 3 days, I will have one of the best writers in the world, literally. I'll put out a search, I'll find 500 applicants, I'll pick a writer that knows more about their industry. And then we do an onboarding session where we ask them all the right questions. We really understand their business. And then we start mixing together this content strategy. And then it's not one and done. We tweak it, we adjust it based on the analytics and the results to make sure that we're really dialing in a winning formula for them.
So it's really an ongoing customization process for each of your clients.
Yeah, and even our customers get an app and they can see the content ahead of time. And if they don't like that, click a button, it brings up the next piece of content in the library, or they can interact directly with the writer. We're part of their team. We just do it very, very efficiently.
And now, Vibravision with Nate and Mike Zalesnik.
How do you really monetize this and overcome the challenges, and how you're going to overcome those challenges as business owners?
Perfect, Sam. Great question. I'd like to present you my brother Mike, who has trained in Indonesia, lived there. He is the highest ranking instructor for this system in North or South America, and he is the chief instructor for this entire side of the world. Now, that being said, we have been working in the R&D phase in order to get enough people who can train this and take this abroad, meaning throughout our country. Now, we also have VibraVision immersion camps where people can come in from all over America and Canada to our facility and in 1 week learn the basics of how to do this and take it home and really be able to put this into practice.
So your product is not only helping the blind population be able to see, but also the average population that can see, correct?
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
We actually started with the health and fitness system, and then we introduced the VibraVision a little bit farther down the road, because this method of breathing and meditation actually helps us rewire our body from the inside to unify our mind-body-spirit connection. Finding the benefits through VibraVision is real easy, because it's not just seeing with your eyes closed. We do so many things that improve so many people's lives. And, to scale, moving back to that question, we're going to develop a brand new sport, because what is it going to be like when, all of these extreme sports and obstacle courses and different things like that? Well, our athletes are running through and doing it blindfolded. How many thousands and millions of people really want to tap into to know the world through their heart, not just through their eyes, but to be able to be in touch with themselves and their connection with everybody and everything around them, and then go have fun with it? Well, if we make a sport, how fast is this going to grow?
So one of the things that I see that this company revolves about both of you, right? So what happens if you both get on a plane at the same time, the plane has an accident, and you both disappear, right? So now what?
Even if we happen to mysteriously disappear because of some bad accident, this mission is so much bigger than us. We started just to help blind people, and that's held our heart for 20 years. But this is changing humanity, so we needed to make it in a way that it could be reproduced even if we're not here. So developing those tools, such as the different obstacle courses, all the different colors and things that we use to do the training, perfecting the system and constantly innovating and getting the best result in the quickest amount of time, and then teaching other people how to do that. We actually have 4 different levels of training, where in the first 3, you're learning the skill yourself, and the 4th one, you're teaching other people. And you don't necessarily have to be the most skilled at one of the first 3 levels. You can be a trainer. Like, for example, I kind of doubt that maybe Michael Jordan's basketball coach can dunk like him, but they could coach.
Yeah.
So we want to give not only the people that are practicing VibraVision an amazing boost in their life and bring light to them, but also the people that are helping share it and the investors. This is a win-win situation for every single person that's involved with
So
our company.
franchising is part of your strategy?
Franchising,
Absolutely.
and we've developed tools like online training.
So Michael Jordan, we hope you're watching this, because you can vote too.
Right? Please.
Please.
If we're running those immersion camps correctly with the different levels going on, it's a $5 million per year business with one location.
With all that being said, why should America vote for you? Why should they invest in your company?
Well, America, I hope that you'll vote for us, because we are going to help so many people. Really, we've been developing for 20 years a win-win for everybody. First of all, everybody that practices VibraVision is going to definitely feel the effects and benefits, being healthier, being happier, and having real-life superpowers. I mean, the only competition we have is in a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. This is like modern-day Jedi stuff.
Tune in to the season finale and find out who will be crowned champion of America's Real Deal.